Welcome to Birmingham, my hometown. I'm here in Victoria Square, in the very heart of the city, with the Town Hall and Council House behind me. In the time that I've lived in the city, Birmingham's gone through momentous change. In that time, Birmingham's gone from a city that made things to a city instead that's based on trade, commerce and professional services. And in that time, the population of the city has changed as well. Birmingham's one of the youngest cities in the country. Nearly 40% of the population are under the age of 30, for example. 100,000 people work in the professional services sector. That's people like bankers, lawyers, accountants, marketing, media people like that. And when I was a kid, everybody's parents worked in factories, they made things. But that's changed, and most people of my generation and younger now work in shops and offices. As the city's rebranded itself for the 21st century, it's built upon its strengths. Birmingham's big, diverse and has world-class facilities. Let me show you what I mean as we look at the 5 things I love about Birmingham. The first thing I love about Birmingham is its industrial past. The city still makes things in its factories today, but 200 years ago Birmingham was at the very forefront of the Industrial Revolution, a revolution that turned Britain and eventually the whole world into the consumer society that we recognise today. People like Bolton, Watt and Murdoch behind me used steel, coal, iron and steam to transform the industrial process and built the world's very first factories. And that industrial heritage created by people like Bolton, Watt and Murdoch continued until by the turn of the 20th century Birmingham was known as the workshop of the world. Everything was made here, from tyres, glass, cars, motorbikes, to trains and planes. And it's that down-to-earth ingenuity that made the people very open and very hospitable, the kind of people that are still here today. The second thing I love about Birmingham is the canals as they are today. The canals, when they were first built 200 years ago, were the motorways of their day. They enabled the goods that were being built in the city's factories to be transported through the country and through ports like Liverpool and London onto the rest of the world. The great thing is the canals are still here, and over the last 20 years they've been transformed into areas where you can now go for a coffee, take a walk, have a meal. They're the place where Brummies now come and spend their leisure time. They can walk along the canals through the very heart of the city, away from the roads and away from traffic. And as you can see and hear, they're very peaceful and a very relaxing place to be. There's been lots of new developments around the canals. The convention centre, the indoor arena, Brindley Place, and behind me here the mailbox, home of BBC Birmingham. How ironic that the city in the country that's furthest away from the sea should generate all this activity around its waterways. But Birmingham actually has more miles of canal than Venice, and that's something that people don't realise. When you're in the centre of Birmingham, you're never far away from a stretch of water. My third favourite thing about Birmingham is the potential it has for the future. The more I've seen and travelled around the world, the more I've realised what world-class facilities are here in my hometown. I'm here at the University of Birmingham where I studied as a postgraduate student, one of 5 university institutions in the city. And here at the university we have one of the world's largest medical schools next door to one of the world's largest hospitals. It's these kind of facilities that are driving medical research, science and technology across the whole city. These kind of facilities mean more investment in the city, more young people coming to study, work and visit. Birmingham in this respect should be confident about its brand, about what it's saying to the outside world. Birmingham's hard-working, down-to-earth, vibrant and fun. Number 4 on my list of 5 favourite things I have about my hometown is its diversity. Lots of people in Birmingham are from many different kinds of backgrounds. And one of the nice ways that that's displayed is through the food and the kind of restaurants that you can eat out in. So whether you're shopping through the indoor market for some Caribbean king prawns, or you're in a really nice Punjabi restaurant like this, Pushka's on Broad Street, you can really enjoy some really great food. Culturally, Birmingham has lots to offer, from sport to literature, music to art. I'm here in the city's museum and art gallery, which has a wonderful collection of pre-Raphaelite, Renaissance and contemporary art. Living shoulder to shoulder with people of different backgrounds, cultures and faiths does promote respect. Unless you're open to things and open to different people, you'll miss out on an awful lot, especially somewhere like Birmingham. Finally, my fifth favourite thing about Birmingham is its parkland. We're here in the Lickey Hills on the edge of Worcestershire, about 10 miles from the city centre. And away from the factories and the streets and the shops and the buildings, Birmingham is also a very green place with many, many acres of green space and parkland. And these hills here were a gift to the city from the Cadbury family in the 1920s. From up here you can see the whole of the city. More than 1 million people live in Birmingham, nearly 3 million people in the wider conurbation. All those people look to Birmingham as the place where they live, work and visit. The Lickey Hills are also an important part of my childhood. When I was growing up in this area, I was really into Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings, and Tolkien lived in Birmingham for many years during his childhood. And it's the love of those kind of stories that gave me my own love for the outdoors and for travelling around the world. Birmingham's brand has had to change as the city has changed. Over the past 20 years there's been lots of new developments, and people's perceptions of Birmingham have needed to change along with that. Lots of people used to think Birmingham was a traffic-ridden, dirty, industrial city. I would hope that from some of the things we've looked at together, you can see that it isn't really like that. There are obviously dozens and dozens of things I could have shown you and places we could have gone around the city. But I hope in the 5 minutes we've got in this video, I've been able to show you some of the things that make me proud to be a Brummie.